It's a special Friday night game in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, as Florida State takes on Boston College. Welcome to your Nole Insiders game preview delivered by UPS. I'm Lane Hurt, along with Tim Linnefeld. Tim, short week this week. Can that be good for the Seminoles coming off of a disappointing game against Louisville?
Yeah, I think it probably can. You don't really have much time to stew over it, much time to reflect. Florida State was back at it on Sunday, getting ready for this short week, and you immediately have something to turn your focus to, turn your attention toward, and kind of rally around something that's coming quicker than usual. Yeah, I don't see how it couldn't help just a little bit.
The opponent, the Boston College Eagles, let's take a look at them. They are 4-4 on the year, 2-3 in the ACC, 94th in the country in total defense. A little rare for them. Usually their hallmark is their defense. 87th in total offense, 375 yards per game, a little more normal. But this is where it gets interesting, Tim. The Eagles have scored 40 points in consecutive ACC games for the first time in history. They had 555 yards of total offense against Louisville, most in the Steve Addazio era. What is going on with the Boston College offense?
Boy, that's a really good question, and I don't know that we have an answer for it. Like you said, you mentioned those stats and those averages, and you can kind of throw them out the window because what BC has done the last 2 weeks and scoring just a truckload of points against Louisville and Virginia, it's something that literally we have not seen since Boston College joined the ACC. I looked it up. It's the first time that BC scored 40 points in back-to-back games since 2002. That was a long time ago. So it's really hard to know exactly what to expect from this offense because I think just looking at their yards per game averages, looking what they've done up until 2 weeks ago, it really doesn't apply because I don't know that you can expect that. Now, maybe BC will revert back to what we usually expect from them on offense, which is a power running game, grind it out, and score 17 to 20 points and hope for the best. But, man, behind the quarterback, Anthony Brown, the running back, A.J. Dillon, they look like a team that has figured something out. Something has clicked, a switch has flipped, however you want to call it, and they look like just an offensive force. And I don't know necessarily that they are an offensive force, but how else do you describe it? I mean, they're putting up huge points, huge numbers against ACC teams. It's practically unheard of, but it's coming up next.
You mentioned two names in quarterback A.J. Brown and then Austin Dillon, running back. I'm going to add a third one, wide receiver Kobe White. The key thing about them, they're all freshmen. Only team in Division I that is led in passing, rushing, and receiving by freshmen. You got to think that youth movement is kind of starting to gain steam there.
Yeah, it could. And, I think back to times when we talked to some of Florida State's freshmen and said, hey, whenever there are multiple freshmen contributing, you'd say, hey, do you guys take pride in that? Do you see yourselves as sort of ushering in a new era or a new wave or whatever the case may be? And they say, yeah, we usually do. And especially, gosh, for Boston College's freshmen, not to belabor the point, but you see those guys and you say to them, hey, you're the first group in 15 years to do what you're doing, and I think that has to give them some confidence and give them some belief that they can perform at a high level. Man, I think back to Dillon, the running back, the play he made against the Louisville defender the other day. He's running around the edge of the line, tucks the ball under his arm, grabs the Louisville defender, throws him down.
Just dismisses him.
Yeah, and then just takes off down the sideline for a touchdown. I mean, that kid obviously has belief. He obviously is tough. And he's a load to bring down. So, yeah, it feels something like a new era for Boston College, something I feel like we're making this point a lot, but really you just can't overstate. This is totally different than anything you're used to.
Which leads to the question, what do the Seminoles do to slow them down?
I think you got to play well on defense. I actually think that Florida State's defense could play pretty well in this game, usually because this is the type of offense, the straightforward running offense. The Florida State's defense does do pretty well. The thing to me that you're going to have to keep in mind is as much as they do like that power running game, and they're not running the Louisville offense or the NC State offense, stuff like that, but they do like to throw some trick plays in there. They do throw some misdirections at you, some throwback passes. We've seen them do it against Florida State before. So what does that mean? You got to stay disciplined. You got to stay on your man. You got to do your job. And keep in the back of your mind, they're going to do stuff to make you think that it's okay to leave your assignment because the play is going a different way or going to a different player. But as soon as you do that, the ball is going to be where you think it's not, and it's coming back down that sideline, and all of a sudden you're in trouble. So you got to maintain what Jimbo Fisher likes to call your eye discipline, do your job, and trust that everybody else is going to do theirs.
Our key matchup, we still have to go back to Boston College's defense. They've had a couple of injuries. One of the guys not injured, though, is Harold Landry. The guy led the nation in sacks last year. I think Dalvin Cook said he's the guy who hit him hardest in his career at Florida State. The guy can do a lot, and the Florida State's offensive line is going to have to find a way to neutralize him or at least slow him down.
Absolutely, and just continuing a theme of outstanding defensive lines and outstanding defensive linemen that Florida State has faced this year. Harold Landry, one of the best in the country, was near the top of the sack leaderboard last year, had 2 sacks against the Seminoles in Doak Campbell Stadium last season. Probably going to be a first-round pick. Really, really talented guy, kind of the straw that stirs the drink for that defense. So Josh Ball over at left tackle is going to have a busy afternoon. I think you're probably going to want to give him some help either from one of the guard spots or maybe have the fullback, Jonathan Vickers, come in and help chip him a little bit. Do everything you can to keep James Blackman's jersey clean and give him a clean pocket, because you know Harold Landry, I mean, he's a talented player, and he can make things happen. And I think the idea is to minimize that as much as you can, while also understanding that, you know, he's one of the best players in the country. He's going to make some things happen here and there.
There you have it, Seminole fans. There's your Nole Insiders game preview delivered by UPS. Make sure you check out Tim's First and 10 article on Thursday, because we play on Friday. And also, again, don't forget, it's that Friday night game, 8 p.m. You don't want to miss out as the Seminoles take on the Eagles. For Tim, I'm Lane. Go Noles.